Alright, hello, we're back once again to Sudoku time with your girl Eve. Still don't have a name for this, but whatever, who cares. Today, I think you can kind of tell what we're gonna do. It's Rat Run again. Yay! So I love these puzzles so much. And last time, we finished what is now the last of the 2-star puzzles in the series, which was shock value. The 10th one came out today, which is weird, because Marty said it was going to come out tomorrow, but whatever. It's actually really cool looking. It's rated 3 stars right now, but it's only been solved like 6 times. So maybe it'll go down to 2 stars eventually. Is there any comments? Not much yet. It doesn't seem extremely hard. It's a fog puzzle. And I do want to try that eventually, but what I want to try today is one of the 3 stars. In fact, the earliest 3-star that I did not solve, which is Double Dutch, number 3 here. That orange one. So I solved Primer, obviously, as the easiest one. That's the 6x6. And then I solved Tenacity, which was the 8x8. Both were really cool. I don't remember if I recorded them. Who knows? But yeah, today we're doing Double Dutch. So let's try it out. Yeah. Okay, so let's see. Normal Sudoku rules apply. So again, as always, digits 1 through 9 in every row, column, and 3x3 box. Which this puzzle is a lot less busy than something like what we did last time. So it's a lot easier to see the borders of the boxes, I think. That's the only problem with these puzzles. The later ones, it can be kind of hard to see the box borders with everything going on, but that's okay. This is 3-star, right? Yeah, okay. Aim of the experiment. Finks must reach the cupcake by finding a path through the maze. The path will be a snaking line that passes through the centers of cells without visiting inside more than once, crossing itself or passing through any thick maze walls, as well as moving orthogonally. Finks may move diagonally if there's a 2x2 space in which to do so, but may never pass diagonally through a rounded end / corner of a wall. So again, we need to make a path for Finks to reach the cupcake. It might be something like, I don't know, that. And if there's a 2x2 space, which this puzzle actually doesn't have many, only this and this. What was the second one? I saw it for a second, but I lost it. Well, here, and here, and here. There we go. So if Finks somehow made it to... let's see. If Finks went like this, then she could do that. That's allowed. But she can't go through a rounded corner, so she can't do that. That's not allowed. Black currents. Cells connected by a black current have a 1-to-2 ratio. Not all possible black currents have been given, so these are these. There's a lot more in this puzzle than last time's, I think. And then test constraint. In this experiment, the correct path will be a valid Dutch whisper line, i.e. adjacent digits along the path must have a difference of at least 4. And that's all the rules. No teleporters, no anything. So, yeah, let's get started. So, I know the rules of this puzzle because I've tried to think about this puzzle before, and I just couldn't get, much where. I just couldn't get far in it when I tried to think about it in the past, but maybe today we can. Now, with a lot of these puzzles, something that didn't come up last time was that sometimes it's easier to think of the path as 2 paths that must connect, one starting from Finks and one starting from the cupcake. Here, I don't think that's going to be useful because there's a lot of ways to get to the cupcake. You could be coming in from the left, you could be coming from down here, you could be coming from up. So I don't think that's going to be super useful. I think it is just going to be better to focus on Finks and where she's going. So right off the bat, here's one thing. Here's the one thing that I thought about when thinking about this puzzle. Black currents are really powerful in this puzzle because there's only 4 pairs that can go on black dots. 1, 2, 2, 4, 3, 6, and 4, 8. And only one of those works for Dutch whispers, where they must have a difference of at least 4. and that's 4, 8. So what that means is that if Finks passes through a black current, that black current must be a 4, 8 pair, always. Which means a couple things. For example, she can't pass through both these black currents, because then they would both have to be 4, 8 pairs, and that's impossible. If she passed through this one, she can't pass through either of these, because this would be a 4, 8 pair, and then this can't be a 4, 8 pair, this can't be a 4, 8 pair. So, yeah, that does tell us a couple things. Now, is that going to be enough? Maybe. Because there's only 2 paths that Finks can take to start the puzzle. She can either go this way, in which case she has to continue all the way to at least here. Or she can go this way, in which case she has to continue to at least here. Now we'll put a 4, 8 there. Now the other thing about Dutch Whispers lines is that they work mostly like German Whispers, with a slight difference. So German Whispers is adjacent digits along the path would have to have diffs at least 5. That would be a lot more constrained. Because one thing we would know then, well, one, any black hockey that would be impossible, because there's no pair with a diffs at least 5. And 2, a 5 could never go on a German Whisper one, because there's no digit away from 5, like 5 away from 5, that is still a valid Sudoku digit. Sorry. And the other thing about German Whispers lines is that because of the way they work, they would have to alternate between high and low digits. So they're just above 5 and just below 5. So if you're above 5, the next digit must be 5 away from that. So you must go down to below 5, then up to above 5, then down to below 5. Dutch Whispers works mostly like that, with the only difference that a 5 can kind of break the cycle. So you might be going, low, high, 5. Or let me find a better example, actually. Here. So if Finks was going through here, like if this was the line, and we thought about it, we could be going like low, then high, then low, then a 5 could be like a small break in the path, and then this could be either a low or a high. It could be a low again. Because these could be both 1s, with that being a 5, and that's fine. Obviously, that's not actually the case because it's black copied out, but I'm just making an example. So for the most part, we can say that it alternates between low and high, with the danger of there being a 5 along the path that could act as a pause in that alternation, or a reversal of it. Sorry, I should say a pause and no reversal, or a pause plus a reversal. In the same way, it could go, low, high, 5, low, high. So that's in that case, it would just be a pause. But anyway, with all that being said, can Finks take this path? Because the only thing I noticed about this path is that it takes 8 of the 9 cells in this row. Is that fine? Probably. Probably, honestly. Well, actually, it would take 8 of the 9 cells, and then 5 would definitely have to be on it. Because if 5 wasn't, then it would have to be here, and 5 can't go on a black hotkey though. So 5, as I said, is interesting, because it can go with lows or highs. It's the only digit that can do that. But it can only go with specific lows or highs, 1s and 9s. So if this was the path that Finks took, wherever the 5 was, it would have to be surrounded by a 1 and a 9. That seems possible. I don't see why that is a problem with that. One thing I notice is that, like I said, you can only take 1 black dot on any row or box or column or anything. So if Finks went this way, then she could never pass through this dot later on. if she goes this way, shit, my mouse, man. If she goes this way, she can't pass through this dot, because it would have to be a 4-8 pair, and it would leave this square empty. So she would have to go either through down here, or through there. I don't know which one of those is right. Yeah, it's Oh, here's one thing. There's a big portion of the maze that Finks can't go through. Finks can't go through here. All that is impossible for Finks to go through. And why is that? It's because of this black croppy dot right here. So as we said, if she goes through this dot, then this has to be a 4-8 pair. But if this is a 4-8 pair, then now, how must this path continue? Well, it must continue in both ways. So it must go over here, and then it must go over here, in which case there's only one way for it to travel, and it's at least to up there. But now, what is this black property dot? Well, it also has to be 4-8, and now we have 3 squares from 4 and 8 in this box. So, Finks can never enter this area. This area is completely blocked off. I'm going to mark that with some X's, actually. So all of these squares completely blocked off. Finks cannot enter that area. That is something. That is a start. Because now, however Finks traverses the maze, I think she's going to have to go through here. Any path that she takes, even if it's something weird like this, to exit this top of the maze and end up at the rest of it, she's going to have to go through here. This wall is now the only way of getting from the top left of the maze to anywhere else. To the, well, like the bottom right. So top left, I'm saying these cells. To anywhere else, right at the bottom right of it now. So right now there's 2 areas, and she needs to get to the second area because that's where the cupcake is. And the only door, the only wall between those, since this is blocked off now, is that one. So Finks will have to go through there eventually, which indeed means that that is a 4-8 pair. So we have a start. Now, with that being a 4-8 pair, she now can't cross this black croppy dot. So that is disallowed. And she can't cross this black croppy dot, because then it would also have to be a 4-8 pair, and that square is impossible. So now, the only way of getting from... this is actually really cool. The only way to get from this area to anywhere, or sorry, this area to anywhere else is by going through that wall, which means it's a 4-8 pair. And now she can't cross this one, because now that's impossible. She must cross this one, and that's a 4-8 pair. And we now know the path, at least the start of it. It goes like this. What a concept. That's a really cool start to the puzzle. I gotta say, that's really, really cool. Now, she can't cross this one, because now it would have to be a 4-8 pair too, so that's not allowed. Okay, now Finks has 2 options. She either goes up, in which case the path continues to at least there, or she goes down, which gives us a lot of freedom. She could turn, she could keep going, she could do some loop-de-loops. We don't know. But what do we know? Not sure. I guess one thing I can do is mark a few of these non-path croppy dots. So this is not a 4-8 pair. It's also not a 2-4 pair, because that can't be a 4 because that 4-8 pair. And oh shoot, that could be a 4 actually. This one. Huh, never mind. That's not a useful thought. Okay, what is a useful thought then? What makes a useful thought? Well, this can't be Well, I guess I can kind of mark it. This can't be 4 or 8, so it's 1, 2, 3, or 6. Which makes that 1, 2, 4, 3, or 6. No, that's not a useful pencil mark. Never mind. Screw that. Sorry. Violent language in Sudoku land, let me tell you. Okay, so one thing is we're never going to return to this area now. So this area is done. There's no more path in this area. We know that much. So in fact, I'm going to mark that just to be sure I remember it. There is no more path in this area. Nowhere in here. Actually, I don't need to mark all that. In fact, sure, I can mark it, but I'm going to mark it with a color, actually. Because eventually I'm going to start using colors for the path. And those are going to be green, red, and a blue, because that's the colors I use for high, lows, and 5s. But for now, let me use a color to represent areas that Finks can't enter. So it's all those. I'm going to mark them with just gray. That's fine. Is that useful? Actually, I don't know. I don't know if I'll keep that. For now, I'm going to use it just to know what's going on. Finks can't go through that dot, which means Finks can't go in this corridor at all. Because if Finks was there at any point, she would have to continue up and down. She would go through the dot. So this whole corridor is disallowed. Anything else? There's only one cropped out left, actually, that she might be able to go through. And this one, though. She can't go in this square or this square. Because then she would have to go through this cropped dot. So those two are disallowed. Everything else in this puzzle, I think, is fine. She can go through any other square, and that's fine. Okay. Well, now what does she do? Great question. I think I'm going to have to somehow learn another secret of Dutch Whisper's lines if I want to continue this puzzle, because with just this 4-8 secret, it doesn't feel like I can finish what I started. Well, one thing. These both see 4 and 8. So these are different than these ones, where only one of them sees both. So this can only be a 1-2 or a 3-6. That's slightly more useful. Same thing with this one. These actually both see 4 and 8 as well, in different places. This one sees 2 there, this one sees 2 here. So these are also 1, 2, 3, 6. This does not see both. This does, but this does not, so it's not quite as useful. Okay, here's one thing. If this is not a 5, then this is from 1, 2, 3, 6. Let me explain that. So if this is not a 5, then whatever parity this is going to be a different parity. If this was high, for example, we'll go high, low, high, low. If this was low, it would be low, high, low, high. But as I said, a 5 can pause. So you could have something like high. Oh, that's the hormones. That is the reminder for my hormones. Got it. I have water with me this time, so no need to trek to the kitchen. As I was saying, the 5 might be able to pause the alternation. So it could go something like... Shoot! Oh. Wait, caps lock. Low, 5, high, low. And then these would both be the same parity. And then this would not see both digits. I don't know if that's the case. In fact, it's going to be pretty hard to fill in this Sudoku, I think, because I don't know where to start with digits. With the path, we've gotten a start. We've gotten something. But with digits, it's a little hard. Oh, here's something. This can only be from 1, 2, 3, 6. So, if this is a 4, the path can't go down. Because none of these digits is 4 away from 4. So if we can prove this is a 4, then we know the path goes up, and it would go like this. And then it would have to go left there, because it can't go down. That'd be kind of huge, but I don't know if we can prove that. If it's an 8, then that's just saying that can't be a 6. It could be any of the other digits. That would be fine for the Dutch whispers. Either way, though, it's gonna have to pass through here, isn't it? Yeah, no, it will, because it can't go through here anymore. So the only way of getting from... mark this again. The only way of getting from this area of the maze to anywhere else is by passing through there. So we're gonna pass through here eventually. I don't know if it's immediately or if we're gonna kind of snake around first. But we're gonna pass through there eventually. And then what's gonna happen? Great question. If this is 6, then that would have to be a 1 or a 2. If it was low, then it would have to be high or a 5 if that was a 1. Too many options. I just know we definitely go down here at some point. Now, we could go down again and kind of just get to the cupcake. That's probably not what's gonna happen. We're probably gonna venture into this area a little bit. Somehow, but I don't know how. What am I missing? What am I missing here? Don't know. Okay. Finks may still get to the cupcake from any of these entrances, because she could be coming from here and then coming through there, or well, she could just do that, which again is probably not what's going to happen, but still possible. If she's ever in this square, then she must go like this. And then she could do some weird stuff, honestly. I don't know. Yeah, I'm a little lost, to be honest. It's been 20 minutes. We've made a little progress, which is good, but not that much. I feel like we're gonna have to start thinking about if 5s can be on the line, because then we can start thinking about parity on the line. So 5 in this box must be in there. 5 in this box must be in there. 5 in this box must be in there. It's too unrestricted, man. There's too many places where 5 could be. 5 could be anywhere in those. Especially with that, because that could be a 1. Huh. Ugh, Jesus. When we think about this, high, low, high, low, high, low. Okay. So without a 5 in one of these would be of different parities. So they would have to be, well, they can't be 4 8s. They would be forced to be 3 6. By parities, I mean polarities. If I've been saying parity this whole time, I meant polarity. I'm so sorry. I am the dummy. But But then, this will be forced to be a 3, because it can't be a 6, because this is not complacent with it, by Dutch Whispers. So this would be a 3, this would be a 6. That would be a 1-2 pair. Yeah, okay. I think this is a 3-6. Or, wait. Yeah, of course. Of course it's 3. Okay. Yeah. Like I said, 5s must be surrounded by 1 and 9. Well, not 1 and 9, but 1s or 9s. And if they're surrounded by 2 digits that see each other, then yes, a 1-9 pair. So, there can't be a 5 here, because that's not a 1 or a 9. There can't be a 5 here. There can't be a 5 in any of these, like we said. There could be a 5 there, but that doesn't affect this area at all. So, now, we can think about this. If this is any parity, then this is different, same, different, same, different. So these are of different polarity. I said parity again, I'm sorry. And if they're of different polarity, then there's only 2 pairs that could be 4-8 or 3-6. It can't be 4-8, because that's already taken. So they are 3 and 6. And now, we have a digit. This can't be a 6, because then this would be impossible. This couldn't be a 4, and it couldn't be an 8. We have digits, ladies and gentlemen. Holy crap. This can't be a 3-6, which means this can't be a 3-6. Which now I think we're going to get rid of this coloring. Well, no, I kind of want to keep it. But I need to start, this can't be a 3, this can't be a 6. I need to start labeling highs and lows now. How am I going to do that while still maintaining this? Shoot. I could go back to just labeling it like this, I guess. Honestly, at this point, I just need to remember that I can't enter this area. And this area. Everything else is kind of obvious. Well, this area too. Everything else is obvious. I'll mark those as well. So, yeah, I'll get rid of the coloring for those cells. And I'm going to start labeling highs and lows. Because now, that is low. That is high. These are both lows. This is low. And now, this is not a 1 or a 9. So those are both lows. That is high now. Which means that it's an 8. That's a 4. 4 and 8 here. That's low. That's high. That's low. Neither of these is a 1. So that's definitely high. It has to be an 8 or a 9 to be allowed by this 4. These have to be a 1-2 pair because of the 6 here. Now because this could be a 1, that could be a 5. In fact, that is actually the case because this is definitely high. And now, what's this, right? We have a low here and a high here. So we need a pause. So that is a 5. Which means it is surrounded by a 9-1 pair. Holy crap, we have a start. That's really cool, actually. That's now high. That's now low. Which means it is 8 and 4. And now this can't go down. Because that's not a difference of 4. So this must go up. And now it must go to at least here. And now this is definitely a high. Now this could be a 9. So we can't, well, actually we can't say that that's not a 5 because Sudoku. So that's low, that's high, that's low. Now this may be a 5 because that could be a 1 and that could be a 5. But for now, let's just mark that this is an 8 or a 9 because of that 4. 8-9 pair gives us that this is a 6 or a 7. So 4 away from those, actually 4-3 pair there gives that's a 1 or 2. 1-2 pair gives us that's a 6, and that's a 3. That's now a 7. Which is good. Okay. This can't be a 3 or 6. This is definitely from 1, 2, and 4. And in fact, that can't be a 1 or 2. So that's a 4, that's a 2. These are both low. I think we have a puzzle, ladies and gentlemen. I think I'm actually going to be able to solve this. I'm confident, right? I know we don't actually have that much yet, but I don't know. I'm feeling kind of confident. So, this is a 2. It definitely has to come from here. It's not a 1, so it's definitely surrounded by highs. And those highs could be anything, unfortunately. That can't be an 8, but whatever. Okay. Wherever this goes, it definitely goes to a low, because none of these can be a 5. Which is interesting. Not super useful. Let me see actually if there has to be a 5 in this path. If there wasn't a 5, this would go low, high, low, high, low, high, low. Which is wrong. So there is definitely a 5 in one of these cells, which is not a great pencil mark, but it has to be on the path, is what we need to remember. There has to be a 5 on the path to act as a pause on the alternation, because the path is definitely going to go like that or like that. Either way, it's the same number of cells. Now, with that number of cells, without a pause, it would be the wrong polarity. Let me just make sure that again. High, low, high, low, high, low. Okay. Excuse me. Now, what can we do? Well, this has to be low. Sorry, I forgot that that's literally where Fink starts. 1-2 pair gives that's a 3. Cool. These by Sudoku are 5 and 7. This by Sudoku is actually given. It's a 6. Means that's not a 6 anymore, which is something, I guess. So we have a full box filled. We can fill these in. Actually, that's given. That is a 5. So 5 for that row. These are 3 and 7. We know the order. And these are 1 and 9. Which we do not know. Okay, cool. Now what? Well, now what I'm thinking is that it's pretty hard for this digit to go anywhere. Because wherever it goes, it needs to go to a low or a 5 if this is a 9. And in fact... Ooh. Okay. It has a very hard time going here, because this square sees all high digits, or all low digits. It sees 1, 2, 3, and 4 here. So if it goes left, then that is definitely a 5, with that being a 9. If it goes down, that could be a 5 if that's a 9, but if that's not a 5, then it's not a 1, 2, or 4, so it would be a 3. And 3 is not 4 away from 6. So either option does not allow a 6 here, so that's never a 6. If this goes down, then that is a 3 or a 5, with that being a 7 or 9. If this goes left, then that is definitely a 5, with that being a 9. So it's actually pretty restricted. It's more restricted than it looks. But will that be enough? That's the question. Maybe. Can this still be a 4-8 pair? Yeah. Surely. There's nothing stopping that from being a 4-8 pair. So the path may still cross this die. There's nothing stopping it from doing so. Let me just check. Okay. Just want to make sure we're on the right path. We're not fucking anything up too hard. Okay. Maybe I should have sounded so confident before, huh? Neither of these can be a 3-6 pair because they both see 3. So they are both from 1, 2, 4, and 8. That's not a great deduction, but it's there. It's something, I guess. If this has a 1, that's a 9. If this has a 1, that's a 9. I don't know. Okay, what can we think about? If this is not a 5, then it's a high, and it can't be an 8. It would be a 6, 7, or 9. Those are all possible. There's nothing stopping that. Are there any digits here that just can't be their expected polarity? This one has a hard time, because if this is, well, actually, yeah, if there's no pause up until here, then this goes low, high, low, and this can't be a 1, 2, or 4, so this would be forced to be a 3. This doesn't do much. It does restrict these to 7 or 9. Does restrict that to an 8 or to an 8 actually would not be able to be a 5. Oh, maybe. Yeah, okay. Okay. If that is its expected polarity, then it's a 3. Now, if that's a 3, it's not a 1, so these both have to be highs. But that can't be a 9. So then these, wherever the path goes now, it has to go to a low. And then we didn't get the necessary pausing that we needed in the path. None of these would be 5s. So that is not its expected polarity. That's all I'm saying, is that it's not low. This is either a 5 or a high. Now, if that's a high, that means the 5 was here to pause. So the 5 is not here. The 5 is in one of these two. It's either here or it's here, and it pauses it, and that becomes a 9. So that is either 5 or yeah, that's it. There's a 5-9 pair, I think, is what that means. Because if this is a 5, then that has to be a high because this was a low, but it has to be a 9 for it to fit with the 5. And if this was a 5, then that has to be a high because it can't be a low, because that would have to be a low and it would have to be a 1, so that would be a 9. So there's a 5-9 pair there. Cool. That is a start. Now, either way, the alternation has changed after this little stretch here. So it was going low, high, low, and then it might go high, pause, low, or pause, high, low. Either way, this is a low, and it can't be a 1, 2, or 3. It is a 4. Now, because that's a 4, this can't be a 5. So it's a 9, and that's a 5. That was really cool. That was really cool logic. That was really cool logic. Now, we continue up or down. But if we continue up, this now must be a low, or a high, sorry. And because of the 4, it would have to be an 8 or a 9. But it sees 8 or 9, so that's impossible. So we must continue down, and we must do that. And now we've connected the two parts of the path. And now this must be an 8, because it sees a 7 or 9, and it can't be a 6 by German whispers, or Dutch whispers. This must be a 7 by Sudoku. This must be a low. And it can't be a 4. It's actually from 1, 2, and 3. That's not restricted, but that's okay. Just by Sudoku, these are 1, 2, 3, and 6. These can't be 3. That can't be 6. If that's a 3-6 pair, this would be a 1 or 2, which would make a 1-2 pair, forcing that to be a 3 and that to be a 6. That's possible. That is possible. If this was, Oh, sorry. This can't be a 1-2 pair because of that. It would leave that square empty. So this is not a 1-2 pair. It is a 3-6. And then the exact situation that I just described does happen. So that's a 1-2 pair, leaving that as a 6, that as a 3. And now this is actually given. It's a 7 by Sudoku. Now something interesting. This can't be a 4-8 pair anymore because of this. So this square is now blocked off. Which actually just means the rat can't visit that square. So that doesn't do much. Because the rat could still do, you know, it could still do this. I don't know why I'm calling her the rat. It's Finks. She has a name. She could still do this, or she could still go around town and then do this. One thing she can't do anymore is what we thought about of like entering this little box and then swerving around and entering it again. So she'll only enter it once. As soon as she enters it, she will get the cupcake. Which again, probably means she's not going to enter it right now. But how do I prove that? What did all this mean for the rest of this path? So again, this square is still pretty restricted. If it goes left, it must be to a 5. If it goes down, it must be to a 3 or a 5. Unfortunately, that could still be a 3 or a 5. There's nothing stopping either of those situations from happening. What can this be? This can't be a 3-6 pair because of these two 3s. It can't be a 4-8 pair because of that. So it's from 1, 2, and 4. That's not a 4. There's definitely a 2 in there, which means that's not a 2. Either way, these are both lows, actually. Ah, there we go. No, that doesn't do it. That doesn't actually solve it. Shoot, I thought that was going to solve it. I was going to say, now that means the rat can't do that, because that's the wrong polarity. But remember, that could still be a 5. Which would pause the polarity change, and that if that was a 1, it would be fine. That would just have to be a high, which it can be. It can be an 8 or a 9, still. I feel like we're so close. This can't be a 1, because that can't be a 2. So, small thing there. That could still be a 4, or an 8, or a 1. That could still be anything. What am I doing? Well, I can mark a few things just to do something. These are 1, 2, 7, and 9. That's not a 1 or 2. That's not a 2. That's a high, definitely. It's a 7 or a 9. Oh, actually I have a 7-9 pair there, which is interesting, because now these 3 are sort of given. They're 3... Well, there we go, that's a 3. These are now 5 and 6. And that's a 5, and that's a 6. Which makes things even harder, because now it really could go left. Barely. It can barely go left. Because now, if it goes left, it can't go left again, because that's not okay for the Dutch Whispers. It could go down. But it can't go down to a 1, because it sees a 1. It would have to go down to a 9. So that would be the situation that I'm talking about, where it pauses and flips the polarity. So it would go 9, 5, 9, and then the rest of the polarity for this line would be flipped. Either way, I think this area is now blocked off, isn't it? Because if we go through here, we can't go there, because we'd have to either cross our path. Wait, sorry, this path doesn't exist yet. My bad. Sorry, forgot what I said. Maybe that's still correct, though. Hold on. If we are in this area at all, then this must be part of the path. And then, since we can't cross our own path, we'd have to go here. And then we'd have to go here. Yeah, okay. Which, that's impossible. So this area is entirely blocked off. So we never entered that region. I think we also never we never entered this square. Because if we did, we'd have to do that. And that's not allowed for the whispers. So that square is also not allowed, which means this is not allowed. Which means if we go left, the path is actually pretty... like, there's not that many options. We're gonna go down, and then we're gonna go here, and then we're gonna do something in this 2x2. We could go diagonally, or we could go like this, or like this. Some way, we're gonna escape it, we're gonna come over here, and then we're either gonna go straight to the cupcake, or we're gonna take a detour over here, and it goes to the cupcake. Either way... I think there we go. I've now proven which way the path goes. Because now that's a 5, that's a 7, that's a 5. And now, ladies and gentlemen, that means if we go down, it can't be a 5 anymore, so it would have to be a 3. But 3 can't go to the square. So, bada bing bada boom, we go this way. And now, it does do the polarity shift, like, thingy that I said. So now that is high. That is... son of a bitch, that could be another 5. I can't actually say that's low. Because that could be another 5, because we're in another box. And this square doesn't see any 5s. So it could be another 5. With that being a 1. And that would be completely fine. One of those being a 1, I mean. Wow. I really thought we were going to get more information on that. Well, either way, like I said, we're going to have to leave this little 2x2 box. So we're going to go this way. And then I don't know what Finks does. She could stay around in this 2x2 box for a little bit, and then go straight to the cupcake, or she could even travel around it, and then go through the cupcake to the other way. But the path is almost done. Maybe we have to think about some more Sudoku. These are 5, 6, and 8. That's not an 8, that's not a 6, that's not a 5. That is definitely high. Thought that was going to do more, honestly. It didn't, which was kind of annoying. These two are 2 and 4. So they're both low. And now the annoying thing is I can't really think about polarity of this square. Well, I can think about the polarity of this square. It definitely has to be high, because that can't be a 1. So that would not be able to be a 5. So that's definitely high. It's not a 6, so it's a 7, 8, or a 9. It's actually not a 9. That is all the highs in this column, all 4 of them. So these are from 1 and 5. Now, like I said, both of those are possible for the Whispers, which is really annoying, but what are you gonna do? These are from 3, 5, or not 5, sorry. 6, 7, and 8. Sorry. I'm bad. Ugh, Jesus. Sorry. One more. Sorry. Oof. Still getting over that cold for a bit, but I'm fine. There's another one coming, though, unfortunately. You'll have to see it. Stop it. I'm trying to record a video. Stop. 5, 6, and 8. That does not much, does it? This can't be a 9, so that's definitely low. Which makes it a 1 or a 3. Now that can be a 1, so that means that could be a 5. that's a 5, then that's a 5. Which is a fuck ton of 5s, good lord. A lot of 5s on the path. See, this is why Dutch Whispers are kind of interesting, because the 5s kind of shake things up. They're not quite as straightforward as German Whispers. I like them. I like them as a constraint, actually. I quite do. But now what do I do? Oh, 1-2 pair there. Didn't see that. That's a 4. That's a 2. Which means that's not a 4. That's a 1 or an 8, with that being a 2 or a 4. That doesn't change much, actually. That would do more. You can get these. These are 1 and 5. And these are 8 and 9. Which are both high. Which is sort of interesting. Because now, we must get to the cupcake from either a 5, if that's a 9, or a low digit. Which makes it sort of hard to get to the cupcake from here. Because that would be forced to be a 3. It makes this possible, and actually not too unlikely, because then that would be a 5, 1, 9. That would be completely fine. That's probably what's going to happen, honestly. Let's see. Oh, actually, yeah, that's not what's going to happen, in fact, because look at this row. The only place a 5 can go, that can't be a 5 because of that, is here. So that is a 5. That's a 1 now. Well, this turn is still possible, because now this could be a 9. Actually, it has to be a 9, because, well, no, doesn't have to be a 9, because this is not necessarily on the path, my bad. But that does give us that this is a 5, and this is a 1. Which gives this an 8, 4, 6, 5, 8. These aren't 8s. That's not a 1. That's not an 8. Actually gives us a lot of stuff. Let me just mark all those. Soon enough, I'm gonna get rid of the X's when we have the path sort of done. Just so we can see the Sudoku better. So I apologize if it's a little messy right now. We'll get it in a second. These are from 1 to 7 and 9. But they're not 2, because 2 must now be in this black Kropke dot. So 2 goes up here. That's now a 1, 2, 1. That's not a 1, making that a high. That's a low. That's a 7 or 9, so it's high. These are both low. Oh boy, okay. This now can't be a 5 because of that, so it's definitely high. It is a 6, 7, or a 9. That's a 2. Sorry. These are 7, 9, and 1. That's not a 7. 1, 9 pair here, out of nowhere, because that's not a 1. This is given, it's a 5. Look at that. That's our last 5, I think. Yeah, that's all the 5s. So no more 5s to fuck up our path. Now. Okay, so now there's 3 options for what the path might do. It might do that. That's impossible, because that would have to be a high from this side, but a low from this side. So that's not possible. It could do that. That's fine, because it would alternate from a low to a high. Or it could do this, and that's fine if that's a 9. Which would make that a 7, that a 1, and that a 3. That's fine. It's completely fine. Yeah, so one of those 2 things is going to happen. Either we're going to go straight, or we're going to go through the 5 here. I don't know which one it is, unfortunately. But now... what? Now what? Well, actually... sorry, I keep thinking this 5 is gonna be on the path. We've not proven that it's on the path. If it's on the path, that's definitely a 9. But we don't know that yet. So, what do we know? A couple things. One is that this is a 3 or 6 by Sudoku. 3. I don't see where this is going. There's a couple 2-4 pairs in these rows, but they're not useful anywhere. I feel like 3s and 6s are going to be pretty useful here to disambiguate. Because if this is a 3, that is going to have to be a 6, which would make that a 3. That's going to be a 6, that's a 3. Making that a high, which means we don't come from that path, which means we will come from here. Okay, let me think about this. So if that's a 1, what we got is that we're definitely going to come through here into the cupcake. No, what does that mean? That means this is low, which would make it a 3. But the start of this whole idea was that that was a 3. So let me walk through that again. If this is a 3, then that's a 6, that's a 3, that is a 6, that is a 3. Make that a 3 makes that high, because it would be a 6, 7, or 8. So this path is not possible anymore. So the path would go like this, but for the path to go like that, then this has to be low, which would make it a 3, which would put 2 3s in this row. Which means this can't be a 3. This is a 1. Those aren't 1s. That is high. That's a 7 9 pair, which puts a 1 there. 9 1. That's high because it's a 7 9 pair. 7 9 pair puts a 6 here, putting a 3 there. 6 3 6. 3 6 6. And now that is high, so this path is now impossible. So we do have this, but the difference is that now this can be low, and it's a 3. Bada bing, bada boom. And now, interesting thing, this can't go straight, so it must pass through a high. And it can't. It can do that. And now, I think we're basically done with the puzzle. We just have to finish our coloring here. Let me get rid of all the X's that we drew to make it a little clear what's going on. And we just got to finish a little disambiguation here on, one, how the path works, and 2, what the last few digits are. So, that's a 9 now, because now it is on the path. So that's an 8, that's a 7, that's an 8, 7, 9, 9, 8, 7, 9, 7, 9. And now 7 can't go to a 4, so I must go to a 2, 4, 4, 2. Great puzzle. Absolutely fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Oh, wait, I didn't finish it. There we go. Because now, this option that we said is impossible because 5 and 6 are not okay. So there we go. So let me do it again. Great puzzle. Absolutely fantastic. I really liked it. I really, really liked it. It was really fun. And it took me about the same amount of time as the last puzzle, actually. Which is surprising. It might have just been because of the... I don't know, actually. It's a 3-star, but maybe it was just not that hard of a 3-star, or maybe I'm actually slightly getting better at these. I don't know, maybe. Felt pretty good, honestly. So, the transition to full-size maze appears to have had no negative effect on Fink's performance whatsoever. She showed high levels of self-control, rejecting the black currents that would have been detrimental to her overall game, whilst enjoying those that happened to lay on the correct path. What a girl. What a girl, Finks. Cool path. Cool path. Very, very fun. Good stuff, Marty. And we did actually get a few diagonal connections. We got 2 out of the 3 possible, in fact. That was awesome. That was amazing. I really enjoyed that. Again, these rat run puzzles are always just so fun, and this one was no different. I really liked that, and I liked how it used pretty much everything that I talked about with Dutch Whispers line. The fives being started by 1/9s, the fives being used to like pause the alternation between highs and lows, and here the 5 being used to pause and reverse the alternation. It was really cool. I enjoyed that tremendously. Yeah, there we go. That's our first 3-star puzzle from Rat Run that we solved. There's quite a few left. Let me do this real quick. They're just on the path in row 9. That'll be 1823. 182395. 182395. There we go. Cool. There's quite a few left. If I go back to... Let me actually go to search puzzles. Advanced search. Rat Run. Yeah, so we've done 5 out of 10 puzzles. So we're halfway done. Sort of. The only problem is that the puzzles that are left are all pretty hard. Well, Equilibrium's not, but Equilibrium's going to be a weird one, because I kind of already know how to solve it, because I watched the Cracking the Cryptic video on it, because I'm a dummy. So, yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'll just skip that one. I don't know. I hate to do it, but I might. All the others are 3 stars, except for 8, which is fucking 4 stars. It's gonna be quite something. We'll see. We'll see what we do. I'd love to try out number 5 next. Excuse me. Looks pretty fun. The parody line. Ooh. Quite cool. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see what we do. But for now, I really enjoyed that. That was very, very fun. And lo and behold, just in the time of recording that video, Rat Run 10 now got an actual rating. I guess it was solved enough times. I actually don't know how ratings work on Logic Masters Germany. I think it's if enough people rate it a certain like difficulty, then it becomes that difficulty. And I guess 10 is enough, or however many of those 10 rated it. Is there any more comments? No. This one seems really fun though. I looked at the rules of this one and it seems really cool. So I might do that one soon. It kind of makes sense to go in order now. I kind of broke the order by doing 9 yesterday just because it was an easier puzzle. But I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Maybe we'll go by solve count, like descending solve count when this one gets, you know, a decent number of solves, because that maybe is a bit more of a is a better like show of how difficult it is. Maybe. Yeah. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I guess if we went by solve count, the next one I do would be equal. Well, what do you call it? It will be disparity. Because again, equilibrium, I don't know what we'll do. Anyway, we'll see. That's the point. Either way, very much enjoyed that puzzle. And that's it. Nothing else for me to say. Keep trekking on, Finks. Keep trekking on. Good night.